Hey creative, what's up? It's your girl Jamila and welcome back to my laboratory. So I got this question on one of my YouTube videos, and although what I'm going to show you isn't the same and it's not the exact same look, I still want to show you how you can create something dope just using Siser's DTV and some HTV. I'll have everything I use listed in the description box below. And if you like this video, you learned something new, make sure you give it a thumbs up, share this video with your friends, and make sure that bell notification is on so you don't miss any of my upcoming craft tutorials. Okay, creative. So for this project, we're going to go ahead and start off with the blank canvas and Cricut Design Space. And first thing we're going to do is kind of sort of make like our own template, right, for the designing of the stole. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a square out of here from the shapes panel. And I'm going to unlock it, and I'm going to change the dimensions to 4 by 35, which is about the length of the stole, right? These are the measurements for the stole. We're just going to go ahead and duplicate that. And honestly, if we wanted to, we can change the 35 to 30 for both of them. And then go back over to the shapes and get a triangle, because you know how the stole tapers at the bottom. So if you wanted like maybe like a more accurate template, you could do this. Grab the triangle, and it needs to be about like 4 by 5 or so. Just scoot it over, try and line it up. So something like this basically is what your stole could look like. So let me just go ahead and duplicate that, and I'll scoot it over. You know, I could always unlock this and do 4 by 5. There, that looks, that's as good as it's gonna get. Let's attach those. Okay, so this is basically, we're going to pretend this is our stole, and this width I need to change to 4. Okay, so now we're just going to go ahead to our uploads, and let's upload everything we want to use. So I'm going to take these pictures of myself in this Memphis SVG, and we're going to add it to Canvas. So this image I want to use is all grouped together, and of course I need it to be separated. So we're going to go back over to shapes, and we're going to grab a square, or any shape really, it doesn't matter. I just like to use a square. And then I'm going to go ahead and take this square and stretch it out over half this picture. And I'm going to select the picture in this square, and we're going to slice it. Then I'm going to go ahead, and now you see this part is free, right? And we can just go ahead and delete the parts that we don't need. And I'm just going to go ahead and do the same thing for the rest of these images. Now you can only slice 2 elements at a time, right? So I can only slice like this right here is one piece and the square is one piece. So I can only slice those two at once. But as you can see, this is now separate. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing for this piece right here. And that's why I like to make my square pretty big, so that I can just, just use one square for the whole thing. But of course you can go ahead and grab multiple squares or however you need it to be. Once that's done, just go ahead and delete everything you don't need. And now we're free. So now I'm going to go ahead and size these pictures to my template so that I know they will fit inside my stole, and arrange them in the way that I would like them to be. And this kind of gives me a good idea of where I want to place things on the stole as well. I didn't mean to stretch that out. And of course, you guys, everything I use will be listed in the description box of this video. And if you're finding this video helpful, or you're learning something new, please give the video a thumbs up. And consider subscribing to the laboratory if you're not already a part of it. Now for this video, I am using a white stole, just because I usually do sublimation and that's all I had on hand. But if you're going to do this method, I would highly suggest that you use a color stole, like the color that would go with a school or whatnot, because it would just look very nice. And that way you can kind of, get that like full color look. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this SVG and turn it, and then make it a little bit bigger. Don't want that layer. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and grab some text, and I'm just going to keep it simple. First we're going to go ahead and do class of. And I'm going to change that to orange. Okay, and go back to text. And this time I'm going to change, I'm going to do 2023. So here's my 2. Oh, get rid of that T. 2. And I'm going to change the text to this Varsity Game Day font, and I downloaded that from Creative Fabrica. And I downloaded that because I'm no longer paying for Cricut Access, and if you wanted like a varsity font, they have some in Cricut, their fonts, but I don't have access. I'm not paying, I barely use my Cricut, so it's just, to me it's just not, worth it. But Creative Fabrica is like a monthly membership, and they have all kinds of things. You can download fonts, SVGs, take classes, like there's just so many things that you can do with Creative Fabrica. So it was just kind of more beneficial to use that versus Cricut Design Space. And of course, I actually do have like a free trial for you guys. I'll have that linked in the description box of this video for Creative Fabrica. So I'm going to use this, continue with this font. I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate it and then just edit it. So it's 2, 0. And I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate the 2 because obviously 23. Then I'm just going to go ahead and duplicate it again and edit it for a number 3. Let's see, so it's about, so each of these numbers are about 6 inches. We don't need it that big. Let's take it to 3 inches is good. Change my height to 3 and leave it locked so that it does auto adjust for me. Delete that number 2 because it's different from this one. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and take all of them, move it to the side over here so that I can select them all. Hit arrange. No, I'm sorry, align. Let's see, is it this one? Yeah. Distribute horizontally. Yep, and then I'll just go ahead and attach them so that they can all, cut at once instead of separately. And honestly, that is it. Just move this down. That is our stole. So once you have the design that you want, you just go ahead and delete these because we don't need it anymore. And then we'll just go ahead and hit make it. Now the pictures, of course, are going to be print then cut. I'm using Siser DTV for those, and of course I will have that link for you guys in the description box, and then everything else will be let me see. So for this, what size paper are we using? I just need 8.5 by 11. So that makes it 2 sheets, which I figured it would. And everything else is good. Awesome. So we'll just go ahead and start cutting everything out. So when using the DTV sheets, there's a matte side and a shiny side. You want to load the sheets into your printer in the way where you will be printing onto the shiny side, okay? We actually will peel away the matte side later on in the video. So we're just going to go ahead and load that into your regular INKJET printer. You just need a regular printer that you just buy out the store and plug in, okay? Just a regular INKJET printer. And we're just going to go ahead and print the pictures out. And you're going to use my Cricut to cut it out. But if you don't have like a cutting machine, you can definitely cut this by hand, okay? I'm using my Epson Eco Tank for this project. And don't forget, I'll have everything I use listed and linked below in the description box of this video. So you go ahead and grab your supplies and be able to make this for yourself, okay? So we're just going to continue the process of cutting everything out. Then we'll go ahead and weed our HTV. And you guys, I'd appreciate it so much if you hit the like button on this video. It just really helps me out with the whole YouTube algorithm and whatnot. So if you found this video helpful in any kind of way, or if you've learned anything new, please hit the like button and also consider subscribing to the laboratory if you're not already a part of it. So now that I have all my vinyl and everything cut out, I'm going to take my Siser DTV pieces and I'm going to lay them out in the way that I want them to be on the stove. Now, when you're using Siser DTV, you need to get the mask. The mask is sold separately, okay? So I'm using Siser's DTV mask, but normally I use a different KTM mask. The KTM mask is stickier than this one. So this Siser mask isn't very sticky at all, so you have to work really carefully. But I can reposition my images with this mask without the ink being taken off, okay? Because the KTM mask is like really sticky. So if you make an error and you need to reposition it, it peels a little bit of the ink off and you lose some of the color on your image. But so I like the Siser mask because it is repositional basically. So we're going to go ahead and put our mask on, and once you have your items attached to the mask, go ahead and peel off that backing that I mentioned earlier. We're going to peel off the matte backing, and I just smooth everything out. I make sure there's no air bubbles or anything in the image, and this is how it looks. Now this mask is reusable. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it in half so I can use the other side for the other side of the stove. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that same process. Just lay it out, how I want it on the stove. Remove the backing. And this is how the other side is looking. Now I am slightly overlapping my images with my DTV, okay? So once we have everything cut out, everything's weeded, everything's prepped, we're just going to go ahead and press it onto the stove. I'm using this white stove because normally I do sublimation and this is all I had on hand. But this would really be like even better with the colored stove, right? So I'm doing my vinyl first because the vinyl has a lower pressing temperature in time than the DTV. So I'm just going to go ahead and press all of my vinyl images. And if you're looking for some more graduation projects inspo, go ahead and check out my graduation playlist. I have several other tutorials on there that have been super helpful to others in the past, and I know they'll be super helpful to you as well. And if you skipped through the video and didn't hear when I said before, talking about you, please consider giving this video a thumbs up. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm, and consider subscribing to the laboratory if you're not already a part. So once I'm done pressing all of my vinyl, I'm just going to go ahead and bump my heat press up to 310 degrees. And we're going to press the Siser DTV sheets for 15 seconds. Now, if you don't have it, if you're using Siser DTV sheets for this project and you don't have a heat press, that's actually not even a problem because you can use this with an iron. How dope is that? And you can apply ACV with an iron. I'm not sure how long it'll hold up or, how long it'll last. But I mean, as long as it lasts long enough to get through the graduation, you're good to go. And of course, that comment is for the ones who are DIYing this themselves, who aren't craftpreneurs or things like that. So, Siser DTV listen, it's actually very nice, and it definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Siser is really in their bag when they created that project. So this blue vinyl I used is a metallic vinyl, and remember, metallic vinyl is a cold peel, so I had to let that cool all the way off before I peeled it. And I just kind of want to give you guys a close-up of the Siser DTV, how well it lays on a fabric. Like, if I wasn't able to feel this, like when I rub my hands on the stove and feel it, it almost looks like it's been sublimated. Like, it meshes with the fabric very well. So I listen, if y'all haven't tried Siser's DTV yet, you definitely got to go ahead and grab you some because it looks really nice and it works really well and it holds up well. So you can even put this on t-shirts, and a bunch of other items because I think they say you can wash it like 24 times before it actually starts to peel or whatever. And right here, I'm actually kind of rubbing it to see if it'll come up, and it does. So that is our video, you guys. I really hope that it was helpful, possibly gave you some ideas of some different things that you can do. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I'll see you later.